When I confronted my girlfriend about why I wasn't invited to her graduation ceremony, she yelled in front of everyone, "My parents don't like you. They prefer my ex." I just replied, "I understand." As soon as she left for the ceremony, I gathered my belongings and walked out. When she came back, a shocking sight was waiting for her. Later that night, her father called me with a trembling voice and asked, "Where are you? My daughter is saying strange things." I was 28, deeply in love with Adriana for 3 years. We'd even built a home together, sharing a modest apartment downtown for a year and a half. I genuinely believed we were building a future, solid and true. The first crack in our foundation appeared 2 weeks before her graduation. I noticed a shift in Adriana, a strange evasiveness. Every time I brought up the ceremony, the logistics, the excitement, she deftly changed the subject. It was subtle at first, but it built. One morning, over coffee, I finally cornered her. "So, Saturday at 2 p.m., right? Should I pick up your mom's flowers beforehand?" I started, trying to sound casual, but she cut me off, stirring her coffee with a frantic energy that felt like a scream. "Maybe it's better if you don't come." My phone, which I just picked up, clattered onto the table. "What?" My mind reeled. "It's going to be crowded, limited seating," she mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Adriana, we've been planning this for months." I took the day off work, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when a cold dread settled in my stomach. I knew with absolute certainty something was terribly, terribly wrong. The days that followed were a suffocating silence. She'd come home from her final exams, her face a mask, her eyes glued to her phone, 1,000 miles away. I'd reach for her hand on the couch, desperate for connection, but after a fleeting touch, she'd pull away. "Did your professor like your final project?" I'd ask, trying to ignite a spark. "Yeah. Want to celebrate? We could go to that Italian place you like." "I'm tired." My voice, thick with worry, would plead. "Adriana, talk to me. What's going on?" "Nothing. I'm just stressed." "Stop hovering," she'd snap. Hovering? I wasn't hovering. I was watching the woman I loved, my girlfriend, vanish right before my eyes. 2 days later, the real storm hit. Adriana's parents arrived for dinner. I'd met them maybe 5 times in 3 years, and each encounter was brief, punctuated by a coldness that felt deliberate. Her mother, Patricia, barely acknowledged my existence. Her father, Richard, had this uncanny ability to look straight through me, as if I were a piece of furniture. I'd spent hours making a beautiful lasagna, setting the table with care, but Adriana was a live wire throughout the meal, her laughter too loud, too forced, at her father's utterly bland comments about the weather. Then Richard, cutting his food with surgical precision, dropped the bomb. "So, Adriana tells us you work in IT support system administration?" "Actually, I manage the team," I corrected, a flicker of pride trying to assert itself. He simply nodded, a condescending gesture that said, "Expected." Then, the twist of the knife. Nathan was in finance. Very ambitious young man. Nathan. Her ex. The one she dated through most of college. Adriana's face went white. "Dad, please," she whispered, mortified. "Just making conversation," he said, his tone deceptively mild. "Nathan's doing very well for himself. Just bought a place in River Oaks." Patricia, silent until now, chimed in. Her first actual contribution to the evening. "Such a shame how things ended between you two. You were so good together." Under the table, Adriana's hand squeezed mine, a desperate plea, but she said nothing. Absolutely nothing. Richard, oblivious or indifferent to the palpable tension, pressed on. "He's been asking about you, actually. Saw your mother at the country club last week." Adriana managed a week. "That's nice. We always thought you two would end up married," Patricia added, as if speaking to herself. "He comes from such a good family." My fork clattered onto my plate. I took a deep breath, my blood boiling. "I'm sitting right here." Richard finally, looked directly at me. "Of course, no offense intended. Her ex-boyfriend isn't just an old friend, Theo," Adriana said, her voice low, a warning I was too far gone to heed. "What am I supposed to do? Sit here while your parents reminisce about how perfect your ex was?" Patricia's expression froze, turning icy. "There's no need to be rude." "Rude? I'm being rude? I cooked dinner in my home, and now I'm listening to you dissect how great your daughter's ex is at our table." "It's my apartment," Adriana said, so quietly I almost missed it. The entire table fell silent. Richard and Patricia exchanged a look that spoke volumes, a look of shared disapproval, of judgment. "Well," Richard finally said, pushing back his chair, "I think we should be going." They were out the door in 5 minutes. Patricia gave Adriana a long dramatic hug, completely ignoring me. Richard walked out without a single word in my direction. They were gone, and the silence they left behind was deafening. As soon as the door closed, Adriana launched into a frenzy of dishwashing, her movements frantic, the plates clattering against each other like an angry rhythm. "Are you going to talk about what just happened?" I asked, my voice dangerously calm. "They're old-fashioned. They don't mean anything by it," she mumbled. smiled, her back to me. Old-fashioned? Your dad literally compared me to your ex at our dinner table. Just drop it, okay? You're being sensitive. Sensitive? The word stung. How long have you known they don't like me? She spun around, dish soap dripping from her hands, her face a mixture of defiance and despair. What do you want me to say? That my parents don't like you? Fine, they don't. They think I could do better. They think Nathan was better for me. Are you happy now? My heart sank. So, you've been hiding me from them this whole time? I didn't want to deal with their judgment, she cried. So instead of standing up for me, you just kept me hidden, I stated, the realization hitting me like a physical blow. It's not that simple. It really is, Adriana, I countered, the bitterness in my voice undeniable. She didn't respond, just turned back to the sink, scrubbing dishes that were already sparkling clean. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Over the next week, she retreated. The library became her refuge, and she'd only come home at 10 or 11 p.m., slipping straight into bed. One night, I woke to a soft glow from the bathroom. It was 2 a.m. I heard her typing, then a quiet, intimate laugh. That laugh, the one she used to reserve just for me. My stomach knotted. Who were you texting? I asked the next morning, trying to keep my voice even. Lauren. She's having boy problems. At 2 a.m.? I pressed. She works late shifts. Why are you interrogating me? She snapped back, a wall between us thicker than ever. The morning of her graduation, I woke to find her already dressed, makeup perfect, phone glued to her hand. She was texting someone, a genuine, joyful smile gracing her lips, a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in weeks. You look beautiful, I offered, a desperate attempt to bridge the chasm. She barely glanced up. Thanks. My heart was pounding. So, are we really not going to talk about this? She sighed, a deep, exasperated sound, as if my very existence was a burden. Talk about what? About me not being invited to watch you graduate? About your parents treating me like I'm beneath you? About Nathan somehow still being relevant? That's when her face hardened. She set her phone down with a sharp, deliberate click. Fine. You want to know? My parents don't like you. They don't think you're good enough for me. They think I'm wasting my time with someone who has no real ambition, no family money, nothing to offer. They like Nathan. They've always liked Nathan. And honestly, she grabbed her purse, her eyes filled with a chilling raw honesty. Sometimes I think they might be right. The words hit me like a physical blow, vibrating in the air between us. My entire world tilted. I understand, I said, my voice barely a whisper, eerily calm. She blinked, thrown off by my unexpected composure. What? I understand. You should go. Don't want to be late. That's it? That's all you're going to say? She demanded, incredulous. What do you want me to say, Adriana? You just told me everything I needed to know. I'm just being honest. You're always saying you want honesty. There's honesty, Adriana, and then there's cruelty. She stood there for another agonizing moment, waiting for me to fight, to beg, to collapse. But I didn't. When I didn't, she left. The door slammed shut behind her, rattling the picture frames, rattling my very soul. If you're still with me on this emotional roller coaster, hit that subscribe button. I promise, there are more wild stories where this came from. I sat there for 5 minutes, maybe an hour, staring at the coffee table, the silence pressing in. Then, a strange clarity washed over me. I stood up and started packing. 3 agonizing hours. Clothes, books, my gaming setup, personal documents, everything that was mine. The apartment, I suddenly remembered with a bitter taste, was in her name, secured by her parents' money. I paid half the rent, but my name wasn't on the lease, just like I wasn't truly in her life. I loaded my car in 4 silent trips. When I was done, the apartment looked hollow, desolate. I left my keys on the kitchen counter, next to a note that simply said, "Good luck with everything. Theo." No dramatic texts, no angry calls, no blocking. I just left. I crashed at my buddy Leo's place across town. He had a spare room, thankfully. "Dude, what happened?" he asked, helping me haul boxes upstairs, his brow furrowed with concern. "Got uninvited from her graduation because her parents like her ex better," I mumbled. "And you just left?" he asked, bewildered. What else was I supposed to do? I shot back, and he didn't have an answer. Around 7 p.m., my phone exploded. 12 missed calls from Adriana. 24 texts, a rapid-fire progression from confused to angry to panicked. "Where are you? This isn't funny. Your stuff is gone. Theo, answer me. My parents are asking where you are. Why would you just leave like this?" I didn't respond. I sat on Leo's couch, eating takeout pizza, trying to untangle the knot of emotions. Anger, sadness, a profound relief. Mostly, I just felt bone-deep tired. At 9 p.m., an unknown number flashed on my screen. "Richard." "Hello." I answered, my voice flat. "Theo, where are you?" he boomed, a tremor of panic in his tone. "Adriana is. She's saying strange things. She's very upset. We need to talk." "I don't think we have anything to talk about, Richard. Listen, I know we may have been fine. Perhaps we weren't as welcoming as we should have been, but this is serious. She won't stop crying. We came over to celebrate and found the apartment half empty. She told me this morning that you don't think I'm good enough for her, that you think she's wasting her time with me. Were you or were you not aware of this? A long, agonizing silence on his end. That's not exactly. Did you or did you not say those things to her? I pressed, unwavering. We may have expressed concerns about your financial situation, but we never told her to end things. You didn't have to, I shot back, the words burning with 3 years of unspoken resentment. You just made it clear every single time you saw us that I wasn't good enough. And she listened. Theo, be reasonable. Running away isn't. I'm not running away, I cut him off, my voice rising. I'm walking away from a relationship where I was never going to be enough, where your daughter was ashamed of me. She's not ashamed of you. She didn't invite me to her graduation ceremony, Richard. Think about what that means. Wait, Theo, please. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Adriana called from her mother's phone. Theo, please just talk to me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things. My chest ached. Sorry for what? For hiding me? For being ashamed of me? I'm not ashamed of you. You didn't invite me to your graduation. You let your parents trash talk me. You told me they might be right about me not being good enough. What am I supposed to think? I didn't mean it like that. I was overwhelmed, and they put so much pressure on me, and you chose them over me every single time. That's not fair, she wailed. You know what's not fair? Spending 3 years with someone who treats you like a secret. I met your parents 5 times in 3 years. You never once stood up for me when they compared me to your ex right in front of my face. I was trying to protect you from their judgment. No, Adriana. You were protecting yourself from having to choose. Theo, please. Where are you? Can we just talk face to face? No. What do you mean, no? I mean, I'm done. Adriana, I packed my stuff. I left my keys. I'm not coming back. You can't just break up with me over the phone, she cried, her voice cracking. You broke up with us when you uninvited me from the most important day of your life, because your parents like your ex better. I'm just making it official. She started crying then, that hyperventilating, heart-wrenching kind of crying that used to make me drop everything. Theo, please. I love you. I just made a mistake. Please don't do this. If you loved me, you would have defended me once. Ever. In 3 years. I will. I'll tell them right now. Please just come back. It's too late. It's not too late. It is for me. Goodbye, Adriana. I hung up, and then, I turned off my phone. Leo found me on the couch around midnight, wrapped in a blanket of silence. You okay, man? He asked gently. I don't know, I admitted, the exhaustion seeping into my bones. He sat beside me, handed me a cold beer. For what it's worth, he said, his voice firm, you did the right thing. Nobody should ever make you feel like you're not enough. The next morning, I cautiously turned my phone back on. 47 notifications flooded in. Most were from Adriana, a desperate barrage of texts and calls. But one message sliced through the noise, catching my eye like a jagged shard. It was from Nathan. Hey man, Adriana's parents gave me your number. Look, I don't know what happened between you two, but she's pretty messed up. Maybe just talk to her. I stared at that message, numb with a fresh wave of disbelief. Her parents gave her ex-boyfriend my number to try to convince me to come back. The audacity, the sheer, unadulterated disrespect. In a cold fury, I blocked him immediately. Then, I blocked her parents. And finally, after a long lingering stare at her contact photo, the woman I thought I loved, I blocked Adriana too. The digital cord was cut. Completely. A week crawled by. I buried myself in work, leaned on Leo, desperately trying to build a routine that didn't have Adriana-shaped holes in it. Then one evening, Leo came home, looking deeply uncomfortable. Adriana showed up at my office today, he confessed. Waited in the lobby until I came down. My blood ran cold. What did she want? She wanted to know where you were. Said it was urgent. Man, she looked rough. What did you tell her? That I wasn't getting involved. She started crying right there in the lobby, but I didn't tell her anything. Good, I breathed, a knot of dread loosening slightly. She said she broke things off with her parents, told them to stop contacting Nathan, that she chose you. I put my head in my hands. It doesn't matter, does it, Leo? I said, the words heavy. She had 3 years to choose me. She didn't. Not when it mattered. 2 days later, an email landed in my inbox. Adriana had found my work address. The subject line was stark, Theo. The message itself was a torrent of raw honesty. Theo, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know that I told my parents everything. I told them they were wrong about you, that I was ashamed of myself, not you. I told them if they couldn't accept you, they couldn't have me in their lives. My dad cried. My mom stopped speaking to me. I blocked Nathan. I moved out of the apartment. I'm at my friend Lauren's place now. I'm not asking you to come back. I just need you to know that I'm sorry, that you deserve better. better. I read it 3 times. Each word, a tiny dagger of regret. Then, I closed my laptop. And I didn't respond. A month blurred into existence. The searing anger I'd felt slowly faded, replaced by a dull ache, something quieter. I even started seeing someone new, a casual, comfortable connection. Her name was Zoe, a graphic designer who laughed at my terrible jokes and, more importantly, never made me feel small. Then one night, Leo and I were at a coffee shop, and there she was. Adriana. She saw me first. Theo. Her voice was a fragile whisper. Adriana, I replied, a wave of old emotions washing over me. Her friend, Lauren, grabbed her arm. Maybe we should. No, it's okay, Adriana interrupted, taking a shaky breath. How are you? I'm good, I said, meaning it. You. She looked thinner, older somehow, lines of strain etched around her eyes. I'm getting there. I just wanted you to know. I meant everything I wrote. I'm working on being better. Going to therapy. That's good. I'm glad, I offered, the awkward silence between us stretching. Well, she said finally, her voice laced with resignation. I won't keep you. It was good to see you. She turned to leave, walking past us towards the door. But then she stopped, turning back, her eyes meeting mine, filled with a profound sorrow. For what it's worth, Theo, you were always enough. More than enough. I was just too scared to see it. Then she was gone. Leo exhaled, a long drawn-out sound. Phew, that was heavy, man. Yeah, I agreed, a strange sense of closure settling over me. You okay? He asked, genuinely concerned. Yeah, I said, and for the first time in a long time, I truly meant it. I really was okay. 3 months later, one final message, from an unknown number, appeared on my phone. I saw on Leo's Instagram that you're seeing someone. She seems nice. I hope she treats you the way I should have. Take care of yourself, Theo. I stared at the words, a last echo from a fading past. I typed a simple reply. I hope you find what you're looking for. Take care. Then, with a deep breath, I deleted the thread. And I finally, truly let go. That night, while we were cooking dinner, Zoe saw something in my eyes. You okay? She asked softly. Yeah, I told her, just closing a chapter. You know, the X. She nodded, understanding. Then, she leaned in and kissed my cheek. Good. You deserve to be someone's first choice, Theo, not their consolation prize. And for the first time in years, those words resonated deep within me. For the first time, I actually believed them. Adriana, I heard through a mutual friend, graduated with honors. She moved to another city, started working for a non-profit, and was still single. Her parents tried to reconcile, but she kept them at arm's length. Nathan, predictably, got engaged to someone else. And me? I'm still with Zoe. We moved in together last month. Her parents? They invited me to Sunday dinner within 2 weeks of meeting me. They treated me like family from day one. No questions asked, no subtle judgments. Sometimes, I still think about that chaotic graduation morning, about the unnerving calm I felt when I simply said, I understand. In that moment, I knew exactly what I had to do. The best decision I ever made was walking away from someone who couldn't see my worth. The second best was finally believing that I deserved better. I don't hate Adriana. I genuinely hope she's finding her path. But I don't think about her anymore. And that, more than anything else, tells me I made the right choice. Just last week, Zoe and I were at her parents' place for dinner. Her dad pulled me aside, a warm smile on his face. You know, Zoe's really happy with you, he said, his eyes kind. I'm happy with her too, I replied, a genuine warmth spreading through me. Good, he nodded. You treat her right. And you'll always be family here. Family. Just like that. No tests, no comparisons, no hoops to jump through. That night, lying in bed next to Zoe, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Hey, Zoe whispered in the dark, her voice soft. You awake? Yeah. What are you thinking about? She murmured. How lucky I am, I whispered back, kissing her forehead. She snuggled closer. Me too. And I meant it. Every single word. I finally understood what it meant to be truly seen, truly chosen. This journey taught me so much about self-worth and what I truly deserve. Have you ever had to walk away from a situation where you were constantly made to feel not enough? Share your story in the comments below. I'd really love to hear from you.